I hate to tell you this, but if you spent all 2025 overthinking your book, over planning your book, and watching millions of YouTube videos on how to write your book instead of actually writing the book, then let me be the first one to tell you that this video is for you. 2026 is not about repeating the same mistakes that we all made in 2025. 2026 is getting the book done, getting it published, getting it written, and getting it out there for the world to see. Y'all, let me just tell you, I'm excited for this video. Literally, the sun is just shining so bright, which is making my mood even more excited to film this video. Y'all, next week is Christmas, and then after that, soon is New Year's. A brand new year will be among us in a short amount of days. And I just love a new year just as much as I love Christmas, because to me, a new year has new opportunities, new chances to like try again at goals that you failed at or things that you didn't get a chance to do in the last year, especially for us writers that have a dream or desire to finally publish our books. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Hannah. This channel is for writers, homebodies that just love cozy videos and being amongst a community of writers. If you love stuff like that, then trust me, this channel is for you. Look, I'm not gonna come on here and say that 2025 was a very successful year. I achieved all my goals. I got the book deal. I got the book published. None of that. Yes, 2025 did have its small victories where I was really proud of myself. But let me tell y'all, 2025 was filled with a bunch of mistakes made, but also filled with a lot of lessons I have learned from all my mistakes. And I made this video to hopefully help someone not make mistakes that I made, and also share the lessons that I learned through my mistakes. So with that being said, y'all, let's get out our Notion templates. Let's get out a piece of paper or a planner, whatever you have, and let's get started with planning for the new year 2026. One of the very first few things that I started doing when I started planning for a new year is just doing a bullet journal, just journaling out what I want the year to look like, an ideal vision of how I want it to look. I not only did this for writing, but I also did it for other areas in my life with relationships, finances, health, career, spiritual, all those areas, just like a word vomit, a brain dump. Don't even think about it as realistic or whatever, just brain dump, vomit out. What do you want to end the year 2026 with? What will make you so proud at the end of 2026? What habits do I want to have? What do I want my writing routine to look like? How much time do I want to spend writing and working on my book? I just love journaling, y'all. I just feel like there's so many benefits for journaling. It helps reduce stress. It helps reduce overthinking. It helps you just be self-aware of what worked and what actually didn't work. It's not like to romanticize it. I like to get a cup of coffee. I like to light a candle, maybe play a little bit of soft music, and maybe even change my environment too if I can, and just enjoy journaling. When I was reflecting on 2025, I like to start off with the good, because I think a lot of times when we look back at the year, we always start off thinking about the bad stuff. Whenever we're reflecting on our goals and thinking about the past year, we always think about the negative things that happened. I mean, the year may have not been perfect, but we also need to recognize and celebrate the wins. So one of the questions that I did write down is, what are you most proud of achieving in your writing this year? Just write down every victory, no matter how big or how small it may be. This next part right here is probably one of the most important parts of doing this whole goal setting thing. Understanding your why, your motivation on why you are doing this in the first place. If you don't have a motivation or doing something, let me tell y'all, you're not going to stick around long enough in it. You're not going to have the discipline, the drive to be consistent and keep showing up every single day. Why do you want to write this book in the first place? And why do you want to be an author? After you write down your why, you need to put it somewhere where you can see it every single day. And to me, your why doesn't have to be some dramatic thing. Your why could be so simple. Using me as an example, my why is that I can't think of anything else I want to do with my life. I wake up in the morning, just feel excited and just eager to want to just sit down and write something. Just take myself to an imaginary world and just write about the characters in this world with a cup of coffee in my hand. And I just think to myself, if I could just do this all day with no consequences at all, no responsibilities at all, then this is what I'll be doing. I can't think of anything else I would rather be doing at the moment than just writing. And that's literally my why. It's just my passion. It's literally my dream job. Take a moment to just journal. Why does this book matter to you? Why does it matter that you get this book published? Why do you want to be a writer? Your why can help you guide your goals and figure out what goals are your top priority. And they could also give you motivation whenever you don't feel like being disciplined and consistent. The driving force that keeps you going. Having a very strong purpose will anchor your efforts throughout the rest of the year. After I have my motivation, I need a direction, which is goals. I feel like that's one of the reasons why I keep failing at finishing my drafts, because I didn't prioritize the goals. And even when I did write goals, I look at them at January and forgetting about them as soon as January is over is one of the reasons why I kept stumbling and failing over again, trying to complete my book and trying to write the drafts, because I didn't have SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Having a goal to me is like having a destination. It's like having a map and you know exactly where you're going. You just don't get in the car and just start driving somewhere. You have a pinpoint destination. And for a long time, I was driving without a clear destination. I had a very vague destination, just get my book published. I was set myself up for failure again, and I don't want to repeat that same mistake in 2026. Having a goal makes progress measurable. It helps with consistency. And one of the things that I have learned that can help you figure out what your goal is or what you want to do for 2026 is what I said earlier, is just to reflect on everything that happened this year. Just reflecting on what worked, what didn't work, what you finished this year, what you procrastinated on and didn't even get to, reflecting on those things that happened throughout the year, and also writing your why. And I just like journal what will make you the most happiest and content and at peace in December of 2026. These could be a good starting place for writing a goal. I think this is probably the top mistake I have been making as a writer, is trying to write all the book and story ideas I had at once. One day I try to write my debut novel. The next day I try to write another story idea that's in my head since last night. I try to do everything all at once. But it's like that saying goes, like if you try to chase two rabbits at once, you catch none. So it's not prioritizing what projects you want to focus on now and save for later, which I know y'all is so hard because there's so many things I want to write about. Like I'm telling you, there's so many book ideas and stories that I just want to write and share with the world. But I know that is just not physically possible, because I'm telling you, if you try to do that, you're not get anything done. Trust me, coming from a girly that has spent over 3 years trying to write stuff and getting nowhere in my writing progress. So why is it important to pick and prioritize what writing projects? Well, first of all, it improves your chance and likeliness to actually finish the writing project you set out to do in the first place. It just improves your productivity and focus. It prevents and helps you avoid being overwhelmed and burnt out. Focusing on one project, it does help you get more clear on what your SMART goal is and what your deadlines are. But I know what y'all thinking. Y'all like, Hannah, I have heard other authors have multiple projects they work on. Yes, there are authors out there that balance multiple stories. And I still believe you can work on multiple projects at a time, but strategically. How much can I get done and focus on at one time? Figure out which one's going to be my primary project and which one's going to be my secondary project. Which one is going to have your most attention and which one is going to have your least attention. Also, another thing I like to do is have different genres. If your current main priority project is a romance story, maybe your other project should be a psychological thriller, because you're going to end up making both of your stories sound too similar, if that makes sense. And another thing is too, maybe the main primary project could be your novel and the secondary project could just be short stories, novella, or flash fiction. And use time blocking. Maybe your primary project is in the morning time when you have free time in the morning before work, and maybe your secondary project is in the evening for 1 hour. I just think it's best to set clear boundaries on what is important and what needs to take a back seat. I honestly would not try to work on more than 2 projects if I could help it. Also, another thing I would say is just plan out your week ahead. I feel like that's so helpful when you sit down and write, because I can tell you how many times I sat at my laptop and wasn't sure what to do or what project to work on. It's because, like I said before, that I had no clear goals. I didn't have a good priority list. And when you don't plan out your week, you just sit there looking confused and lost, and you get overwhelmed and you end up writing nothing. I started doing is just sitting down on Sundays and writing down what needs to happen for the week. I even started planning, y'all, what days I'm going to run errands and what days I'm going to do social outings. I want to know everything that goes on for my week, even the meals I want to eat or even the exercise I want to do. But when it comes to writing, what's my top priority project that I'm focusing on? For example, my debut novel I'm working on this week, just write 3 chapters of the book by Saturday. Also have a writing routine. Always have a set time of when you're going to show it every day, because I feel like that also prevents decision fatigue when you the exact time of every day when you're going to sit down and write. And maybe for some people it just depends. Everybody's schedule is different. Some people the nighttime works better, and for some people in the afternoon, it's in the morning. Everybody is different. And for me, I love writing in the morning or sometimes late at night. It just depends on the day. But I would just pick one and stick with it. And if you're not sure, I would do this. Maybe one week you just try morning, see how it goes. Then maybe the next week try afternoon. And then the week after that, try nighttime. And that way you can figure out which one did you like the best, which one did you have the most energy, the most creativity, and the most time for. And even use December right now. Don't wait till January. Try it out now and see which one works for you. I think this is probably one of the most overlooked things us aspiring writers don't think about is prioritize a good deadline. I don't sit down and write out deadlines. I just sit there writing and showing up wherever I feel like it and just doing whatever I'm in the mood for. And I wonder why it takes me so long to get anything completed. It's because I don't set deadlines. I thought to myself the other day, I need to treat writing seriously. Maybe I should treat writing like I'm back in college and I have hard deadlines. Like those professors, like any of y'all been in college, those professors do not care what your excuses or what you're doing. They want that stuff done and completed by Friday at 11:59 p.m. sharp. They don't care. And so I was like, Hannah, we gotta treat writing like this. We gotta have a hard, concrete deadline that we need to rely on, because having a deadline, it prevents procrastination, it gives you urgency, and it makes you be consistent every single time. And even on the days where I want to be lazy, I don't want to do anything, I remember that deadline. Like, Hannah, that deadline is Friday, 11:59 p.m. You need to have that chapter written by then. And it's like, I gotta stop procrastinating, I gotta turn off TikTok, I gotta turn off Netflix, and I gotta sit down and get some stuff done. I use Notion, Google Calendar, Apple Reminder app. I just use whatever app I can to help me get this done. And don't be like me, y'all, because you can set all deadlines you want and just ignore it. Because y'all, let me tell y'all, I have set deadlines and ignore it. But it just shows when you do that. And first of all, when you do that, you end up regretting it, because you could have actually met your deadline if you just stopped being lazy and put down the phone and actually got to work. And trust me, I've been there. Treat it like a college assignment. I always think of it as a top priority, something that must need to get done. I don't know about y'all, but I want 2026 to be the year that I take action, the year that we actually get our books done and published. I feel like 2025 was a year of making mistakes and learning, but 2026 is the year we start earning, we start improving, we start taking action. Y'all, I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I was really excited to make a video like this. I am just as excited for a new year as I am for Christmas season. So cheers, here's your year of us actually finishing our books. And I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.